means gender and politics in Kerala. And you know that Kerala, we always talking that a state having high HDI, GDI, and literacy rate, favorable sex ratio. But we always talk that the experience in gender-specific crimes at homes and public, lower participation in political and economic activities. So this issue and the government, they had taken certain the policies and the politics. How this kind of female issue is addressed by the government, and what is the actual problem, whether Kerala is having this kind of qualitatively lesser female participation, economic and political participation, whether it is because of the patriarchal norms or the restrictions or discrimination. That is what I'm just trying to discuss. And you know, the objective, they discuss political issues related with gender, to analyze the reasons for lower economic and political participation of women in Kerala, critical evaluation of the strategies adopted, and the theories behind the women empowerment programs of the government. And first of all, we can discuss about the Shabarimala. That is the most burning issue. Presently, Kerala never had experienced this. We thought that the Kerala is a very progressive society, and we are talking about this women empowerment and this Kudumbashri, and we last 20 years, and after 1998 onwards, we are talking that in Kerala, women is very empowered like that. But this empowerment we had seen in this road, the people are saying that we are impure, so don't allow this women to enter in the temple, and this children and this women and all are doing like this, and no one else can be protected against this kind of actions which are done by these people. And some are trying to, this ruling party, they try to organize the women groups to protest against this Shabarimala issue. But that also a failure, because somebody is asking the people who are sitting there, and whether you want to go to Shabarimala, they told that we don't want to go. So that means what kind of an empowerment we had made in this particular, this created the government or the left groups, progressive groups, to rethink about this kind of gender issues and the Renaissance movement and the need for this. That's why I think that the Vanida Madal, the concept of Vanida Madal emerges from, and thus the upper class, the Brahminic groups and NSS and this right-wing political groups are against this, and thus all the other groups and the extreme feminist groups are just fighting that the women issues or so many other issues that they're raising. And in the Shabarimala issue also, they are raising that the government is a failure to allow the female to enter in the this Shabarimala temple because of this kind of Supreme Court verdict. And so it's a failure, so that we are not going to participate in. Some groups are saying, some other female groups are saying we are going to participate in. So this kind of a very burning issue, that's a major issue which Kerala is now experiencing. And I don't think that this kind of things may happen. And the same thing, the Shani temple and all this Rajasthan, this Maharashtra, the BJP ruled government, they forcefully that allow this women, Tripti Desai, to enter in the Shani temple. For 100 years, the temple was not allowed the female to enter in that way. They implemented the Supreme Court. But in Kerala, before 91, the female, there are evidences that the female entered the temple. So, but now we are saying that this temple, that that is the deities, this having what is that, Naishtiga Brahmachari, and this women who are entering this temple, the night deities Brahmacharya will destroy. So this kind of arguments are emerging, illogical arguments are emerging, and the people are saying that so okay, this is like that. So that 2 days back we had seen that in almost all the areas, the women who are this Ayyappa Jyoti or something. So this is a burning issue related to the gender. So, and another thing, political, and then we had seen that in this panchayat level, almost 50% reservations there, and almost all the political decisions in the local level are taken by female members, and majority of the panchayats, the panchayat president also a female. So we can see the visibility of the female in this area, local level, we can see that their presence is there. But actually the women's presence we are not seeing in the implementation level or the ideological level, or in this particular moment itself, we can see that the panchayat, all these members came together and says that we need to go. So that kind of strong word we never had seen in this case of in this crisis period related to this gender. And then economic participation is low, and development issues related with gender and atrocities against women. So these are the things we are going to discuss. I know that I'm having only half an hour, so within that period I'll try to and thus we are just seeing that the MLAs in Kerala in various elections, women candidates, a number of MLAs in Kerala in various elections. Number of 1996, 55 women contested for the legislature, and only 13 become MLAs. That is 23.6. But in 2016, 105 contested, and only 8 MLAs from women, and 140 out of 140 only 8. And last time it's 7. And then in the percentage of women MLAs in total MLAs, that is 9.3 percentage, and 2016 5.7. I know that in 1996 to 2016 period, it's a period of women empowerment, and in local levels that the women participations increased, and everywhere we can see Kudumbashri and this micro level studies which shows that women empowerment happened like that. But in this case, legislative level, the women this percentage has not increased, but it's reduced. And number of women in cabinet till date, 905 people have been elected to the state legislative assembly, in which only 48% are women. Kerala has 208 ministers so far, in which only 8 are women. So we can see that and only 15 women represented Lok Sabha from Kerala till date. In 2014, 269 candidates contested from 20 constituency, only 27 of them are women. So we can see that though the literacy rate and life expectancy, low infant mortality rate, GDI, HDI, the women in this decision-making power, that's empowerment, we are seeing that the political power, and in that case, women is invisible. But in local level, due to reservation, thanks to reservation, local level we can see women, and almost all the panchayat we are seeing women, and also and this panchayat members, more than 50% are women. And from this is done, and then we can just move on to all these things we just discussed, and the economic participation of women. If you are just seeing that 2011-12 data, NSSO data, which says that they employed 54 out of 100 male, 54.2% of the male members reported that they are employed, but female, that percentage was only 16.2. And in which domestic work, 42.5% of women, they reported that they are a housewife or domestic work. And that percentage was only 0.6. That means we can see that the gender division of labor is existing, and the women participation in employment is very lesser. And thus the that women empowerment period 1991 to 2011-12 data, which shows that 2000 and the labor force participation, that is supply, and workforce participation, WPR, that's the demand. And in India, 20.2% of the women, they are supply. They are reported that they would like to enter in labor market. They supply that and then 20.2 is the demand. That means that there is not much. In 2009-10, it reduces to 18.6, and 11-12 is 16.7. And it's gradually declining. The women participation in the employment and economic participation of women is going. This is principal status. That means we are just a total year, half of the year period. What you are doing? That question we asked. It's so that's actually the activity status. They are saying they reported that employed or not. That subsidiary status we are not taken in consideration. Kerala, this percentage was 20.3 in 1991. It is 20.6 in 11-12 labor force participation, and it's 15.7 in 1991 and 16.1 in 11-12. That means it's a gradual increase which has happened in the case of Kerala, but though in 9-10 it's 17.5, 11-12 is small sample, it's not comparable data. Comparable data 14-15 data is still not published. That is why I had taken. So 11-12 data is small sample. It cannot be that much comparable. But anyway, so there is a slight increase or improvement which I had seen in the case of Kerala. But in the case of India, the labor force participation rate goes down. So and then also we can see that the mass movement, that the jump had not seen the case of labor force participation also. The political participation, we had not seen that kind of a jump, and this economic participation also, we had not seen this kind of a jump. But while we are talking about the women empowerment, a gender point of view, we can see that employed and economically employed, that category is very important, because In NSSO classification of employed, unpaid family worker category is also included. So if we are deducting it, because those they are employed, they are not getting any kind of salary. So that if you are deducting Kerala's percentage, when this is working age population, the last one was the total population. So working age population, that 15 to 59 age group, and 19 to 99 and 10, I employed 22.8% in Kerala, but economically employed, that is 21.1. But in the case of India, 31.8% of the women reported that they are employed in 99-10, but economically employed, we are taking it's only 21.2. That means in Kerala, the people who are reported that they are employed, it actually getting some kind of economic benefit. That this unpaid family worker category is lesser. So while we are comparing India and Kerala, we always say that Kerala, though it is educated, that kind of a quality cannot be seen in the labor market. But if we are just going in detail, we can see that the quality of employed, that means economically employed percentage is comparably higher in Kerala, though technically Indian employment, the female population who are employed as technically it is high. And in the case of Kerala, it's 22.9% of the people is employed, in which 21.4% is economically employed. But in 11-12, but in the case of India, it's 23.7% reported they are employed, but only 16.2% are economically employed. That means when compared to India and Kerala, Kerala's economic participation is comparably higher, qualitatively higher. That's what we can see. And while we are taking the type of job, that is one of the, that regular salaried job is considered to be the quality job when compared to self-employed or casual labor, though there is some kind of questioning like this. But in this, that the share of this kind of, in structure of the job, that the self-employed or regular casual labor category, that we can see that in Kerala, 36.3% of the female employed in regular salaried job, while that was only 16.7 in the case of India. And that self-employed, that is 46.6% of Indian employed females are in the self-employed category, while that percentage was only 29.9 in the case of India. And casual labor category, that's 34.2, and in West 7.1 is the government, that MNRG type of thing, 7.1%. That's a MNRE, 34.1%. That means we can see then Kerala, the qualitatively regular salaried job, the people, the female who are doing job, their share in regular salaried job is increasing. So during this period, 99 to 2011-12 period, a structural shift has happened in the case of Kerala's labor market, but that kind of much change which I had seen in the case of India. But Kerala showed a highly quality job. That shift is in conformity with the education status or the quality of Kerala. And then just we can just social category ST, SC, OBC general, that higher secondary and above level ST 19%, 92%, 19.2% SC, OBC 24.7, general 41.7. That I am showing that a majority of illiterate persons, majority are ST community, SC community, OBC, and lesser in general category. So that while we are taking this employment status among social classes, we can see ST group 54.3% reported they are working, and SC 35, OBC 19.6, and others 25.9. So this shows that there is a shift which is happening in the case of the ST groups 54, that is poverty-driven employment. So in this less educated groups, they are pushed in the labor market and they are entering. And while the education level improves, they will withdraw from the labor market, and again they are re-entering. So that's why the others general category, that's 25.9%. And education status and employed female, what has happened to the employed, the education status of the employed female? That also we can see that in Kerala, 99 to 2000, 6.8% of the people employed female are having graduation and above qualification, but in 2009-10 it increased 22.7. But in India, that percentage was only 6.7. So qualitatively, the labor market of Kerala's female labor market had transformed from less educated to highly educated groups. So while we are talking, though the percentage wise it is low, qualitatively we can see there is a structural change which is happening to the Kerala's female labor market. And education and activities, always we are talking that, we always say that it's because the females are not getting technical education. That's why the female employability is lesser like that. So this we can see that only out of 100, 5.9% are reported that they're technically educated, and in which 20.7% are unemployed. And in the general category, though they report not technical quality, their 22% are reported they're employed, but unemployment rate is only 6. And domestic work, that is 56.8, domestic work out of technical educated 35.6. That shows that in the technically educated category also, the women is not getting employment opportunities. So there are some other reasons, not on the quality or the education, that makes the female to not to enter in the labor market, but the technically educated also is unemployed. That 20.7%, though the 100, that is only 5.9% are technically educated, in which 20.7% reported that they are unemployed. And activities and marital status, we can see that married female and married male 84.9% are employed, and in the case of female married 22.6% are employed. But 67.1% of the married female reported that they are they're doing domestic work. And in the case of unemployment also, unemployed male unemployment is unmarried male unemployment, because 3.7% of the unmarried male reported that they are unemployed, but married only 0.6. That means after marriage, we can see that the gender division of labor is still existing, and this female they are after marriage. And also in the case of separated, we can see that 51.4% of the separated female they are working, and their domestic work 36.1, because they are compelled to enter in the labor market. Married women who are supported by the male members who are working in the labor market, and they are doing domestic work. So this we can say that in the household itself, gender division of labor existing, but those women are employed, that they are entering because they are getting and also we are just probability we check, and we can see that the doing manual job among female is very lesser when compared to male members. So qualitatively, female are stick upon in the household work, not because they don't want to go to job, but they are doing the domestic work, and the male members are supporting. So the gender division of labor existing, and though the female are getting more educated. And this female work participation, and this reason why we know that the female participation, labor market participation is lesser, and female political participation lesser. So solution, what strategies we are adopting? The government is and always we are just saying is a puzzle in front of the political decision makers. They are saying that why the women is not entering the labor market. We are just trying to provide them this awareness campaigns, and there's empowerment programs. Through that we are conducting a lot of these classes, all these kind of things. But while we are just looking into the actual time utilization pattern, we will get another picture. That means time use data will provide some kind of other picture, that the male and female, why this female are not entering the labor market, while some kind of discussions while we are discussing, the people will say that the female are not efficient enough. They are not ready to move these hilly places. When the KSCB is always complaining that if we are just female member is transferred to some kind of hilly area, that they are not ready to go like that. So why it is happening? Is it because of women discrimination against women, or the patriarchal norms, why the female are not entering? So this question we have to address. Almost all the women empowerment strategies, and we had seen that after 90s, are focusing to create self-employment programs and focusing on less educated female. But the data shows that their participation has not increased that much, but the participation of educated groups are improved more, and regular salaried job category improved more. That shows that the government sponsored women empowerment programs had not created much change. And also in caste wise also we can see that this Christian and the general educated category group female entered more in job market when compared to other groups. And the SC/ST category, that data had not provided, but the SC/ST category, their casual labor market, they are just withdrawing it. And this kind of a transition, that's a structural shift which is happening. So why it is happening? So this part, and how we can just improve the participation of women in political and economic participation. So while understanding the actual problems of Kerala, then only we can, the government can take policies, and the government can can take actions. So we can see that while we are just taking the worldwide gender different time utilization, worldwide data shows that female doing non-ascertain work, that means system of national account, the unpaid family work means unpaid means there's domestic care work, majority of the care work worldwide, whether industrialized countries or developing economies or India, majority of the household works are done. Time spent on household work done by female, and the male member, that time is very lesser. And while we are taking this code one symbol data I had taken from primary data collected from Kerala, so only Indian data is available only for only 6 states, that's the 99 period. A methodological study had done. After that, some symbol micro level studies are existing, and we are not having that kind of a data. But I had collected some primary data, and it shows that doing market work, those females who are doing market work, at 26% of their time, 26.3% of their time, they are doing household work. Total time is 100, and they are devoting the total time 26.3% of time for household work, and only 5.2% of the time for market work. But the female members, only 7.9% of the time they are doing household work, and male 28% of the time they are doing market work. So sum total, household work or market work, the time, the work time for female is higher when compared to male members. So why these people are going for work, outside work or political activities, they need time, because the resource is 24 hours for male or female. But without this household production sector, we are not taking into consideration, and we are compelling the female to enter in the labor market or in the political scenario, their efficiency level goes down. Because we cannot, otherwise we have to just create some alternative measures, alternative gender-specific infrastructure. Without understanding these kind of gendered roles existing in Kerala society, we cannot just increase the participation of women and female in political or economic, but that kind of activities are not done. So you know that in almost all the countries we are seeing that the female entry in the labor market or political participation, they had introduced a lot of policies which will give them flexible timing, and also some gender neutral policies will not create the sufficient or expected level of women participation. So Kerala entered in the, you can see so many data we had taken, and the time spent by male and female. So I'm not going to discuss all these kind of things. And we know that there are some kind of theories which says that U-shaped relationship between the Human Development Index and this kind of female labor market or economic participation. Economic participation, along with, if they are having economically capable, then only they can just enter into this political power. So India ended in the first stage. That is why we had seen that the lesser educated, less poverty-driven the people who are entering the labor market, because of the poverty push, they are trying, when the human development index is increasing or the household income is increasing, slowly they will withdraw from this kind of market work, and they are doing their household work, because this gendered role that they are compressing their leisure time to work in the labor market. So that reduces their efficiency. So they are getting some kind of economic household income increases. They try to withdraw from the labor market. But when Kerala entered the third stage, Kerala's, that means the educated females are there. They are ready to work because they are technically educated. 20.7% reported they are unemployed. So these people want to enter in the labor market, but our strategies are not focusing this particular group. Women empowerment strategies basically focused on those groups, those when household, those people, housewives, they are doing household work. And while we are just focusing on this particular groups, they cannot create any kind of mass productivity. That's what we are seeing, that majority of the studies which shows that economic empowerment had not happened in the case of female in Kerala. Though they started some kind of microfinancing, through microfinancing they'll start some kind of enterprises, and they cannot just survive in the this labor market, because they cannot just enter in the labor market with this kind of competition. But the educated groups, they are stick upon in this household production sector, and we know that the majority of the consumption, that's what I would like to say. Then the microfinance and this kind of the focusing on this kind of self-employment, which group we are saying that this group we should provide some kind of employment, but we are not realizing Indian condition, where majority of the consumption is not commodity consumption. Majority of the consumption is household products consumption, because we are consuming on only very little portion of the actual consumption are reported. That means in household production sometimes breakfast, we five people person, 150 to 100 rupees production is happening in the household, but we are reporting that we are consuming only 20 rupees or 25 rupees, because that much commodities we are purchasing outside. But the rest of the amount is produced within the economy. So who had done this production? The housewife had done this production. So actually, while we are just taking these persons from the household sector to the labor market, the two way we are helping to these global forces. One means these people we are providing self-employment. Self-employment, we know that majority of the cases we are seeing that these people are getting very lesser wages. That means only 20 rupees or 30 rupees. They are satisfied with this, because they are not the primary breadwinners. They are the secondary breadwinners. With the subsidy amount, they are getting this amount of work. So, and what is its impact? Because of this, they are pulled out from the household sector, and this household sector is open to this market forces, and we are just producing unniyappam and selling in the market and borrowing Horlicks. That means it's an easy way to penetrate into the household sector of the household sector. So that is the one of the important thing which happened. And also another thing is that how children, their right and their learning process, and almost all the strategies which we adopted, government policies adopted, in all schools there are PTAs and there are mother PTAs. And what is the work of the mother PTA? Mother PTA is the work of the extended household work. And intentionally what this PTA, the parents means father, and this mother PTA is doing how to distribute the food in the lunchtime, and the mothers have to compel to do from extend the work from the household to these schools and outside also. So on almost all the areas we can see that this kind of a change. And also that the domestic, for example, I'm a person, I'm living with my child in the 10th standard student, and she is having classes, but in Kerala nowhere a facility is available for me to keep my child after school. There is no secured place is existing, and the other side is propagating that everyone is trying to exploit you. Don't use mobile phones. If my child is having a mobile phone, I can just contact him, and if something happened to that particular child, we can just very well inform where this person is. But all the propagations are against this, because technology is taking away from this kind of female groups. And also we are all talking about the misuse of technology. We are not talking about the use of technology. And everywhere, all these after 90s, whatever kind of women empowerment strategies we have created, that created one sex-oriented or the body-oriented women empowerment strategies. Almost all the classes we had separated the male and female groups. We are just giving classes says that whenever we are going there, you will be afraid of this. Your father will exploit you. Your mother, your uncle will exploit you, the teacher will exploit you, and we are just trying to make this child more bothered about their body, not bothered about thinking or this kind of thing. That's evidence. We can see that almost all the schools in Kerala, 6 months we are having summer and 6 months we are having rain. almost all the schools, after 5th standard onwards, all the children, female children, are wearing an overcoat and a long churidar and a skirt like this, and the PTA is insisting that this is a neat dress, the dress should be like this, and always there is very strict control over the female to protect. So that means whatever the strategies which adopted by the government to negate the positive things which may happen because of globalization. Because of the religious groups, they want to create the culture unaltered by the global forces, the information technology. So because we are just making the world into a small groups, and we are seeing that the other groups and this kind of menstruation and its purity, impurity may break if we are used to see the English channels, and if we this kind of discussion about sexuality and this kind of also things will break, and we'll say that you don't go there because your body may touch some male members. Why we want to protect the body of a female child? Because the body may be the private property of a male member or going to be the private property. But we always say that the female should get this kind of protection and the female should be protected, and we are saying that the police forces and the government and this punishment, all this kind of should be strict. And what kind of a security we are going to get? You know that in Shabarimala, all these kind of things, the people are trying to enter in this Shabarimala shrine, and where this Brahmanical value system is existing. They are saying that the women entry is impure, and why we want to go there? We have to say that it's a strategy of this Sankamaribar group, and the female groups are trying to just help this kind of Sankaparivar, saying that we want to go. And that we can took another strategy which says that though in a democratic government we have the constitutional right to go, but we are not going because there no temple female is having the right to worship. No, there's a menstruation period, the female are not enter in other temple. So we need a temple where all age groups, all community, all caste, all females, whether menstruate or not, can worship and to pray. That kind of institution we need, but we never had that kind of a movement. If we are moving that way, the Sankavarivar may fail. But if what now presently what happened, because of this education system, we always will want to fight this emotionally, not intellectually. So that's what is happening. You know that earlier times, though there is no strict government sponsored women number program, the male members had not considered a female who is standing and saying is a femininity. But at presently, almost all the female who are saying something reasonably got the name femininity or ready or something like a prostitute. The name of a person or a female who is uttering some kind of sensible words got the name as a prostitute like this. So this is the after development of this kind of sponsored development women empowerment strategies. And also we are seeing that those what we intended to do is to give power economically and politically. That kind of thing had not happened. But the capital, what is happening that these people, the women, that the visibility of the women increases. They are ready to go anywhere with all this set and mund. A certain, you know that this white, this red blouse, we are asking them to wear a red blouse and white vesti and mundu. That is the dress code of the Savarnas, not for the lower caste. But we think that we adopted that is the dress code of Malayali. And always this kind of picturization, this is happening, no one is responding. And in earlier times, you know, this kind of groups, why it is happening, theoretically while we are speaking, the globalization basically is a higher form of capitalism. It's having its own positive and negative sides. So it's having its limitation, just like while you are walking, we are slipping down, we'll get accident, but that accident, the severity of the accident may be lower when compared to while we are using a scooter or an aeroplane. But the facility or this kind of the risk along with this facility is also increasing. But the same thing what restrict the women and this kind of lower caste people from education, the same thing is coming in the form of technology which is going to exploit you. And the technology is the only thing at present day can break this religious caste system and can break this kind of controlling system, and to broaden their mind is completely taken away from these groups. And some groups, very richer groups, they are having these facilities, and majority of the groups are taken away from this technology. So that is why presently Kerala is a created gender issue is presently. And we had seen that though these kind of things are existing, the educated groups want to enter in the labor market, want to enter in the political sphere, but they are controlled within the household sector, because the another kind of the gender specific infrastructure had not created, because still we are following what India, total India, what stages, what theory we have to practice. The same solution we are trying to implement in Kerala. Kerala needs another thing. And one presentation of this kind of Yuktivadi, that's that group, they presented one day, one paper was written like this: the Yuktivadi Bharya. That means the wife of a Yuktivadi. That term itself shows that Yuktivadi means male. But we can say that we are not seeing a female, the rationalist or whatever be the thing, atheist or something, because the female atheist within the household, gendered, suppressed, powerless household structure where male is very orthodox, she cannot come out. But if a female is orthodox, male can come out. So that is why we are seeing this male in this front scenario and female inside. So the people are not allowed to use mobile phone, not allowed to use this kind of technology, not because they are not ready to use it, but because the existing government-sponsored women empowerment strategies are trying to restrict the women to come up with the women bodies who are having male chauvinist capitalist ideology. So this should be taken into consideration. While we are framing a policy, the political decision should be on the basis of the actual issues, actual data set which is coming out. So that's why we can say that in Kerala there are a lot of potential, but this potential had not given any kind of chance to come up because of this. So if a person who want to go, that this policy level, we have to just see those countries who are having high HDI, high literacy rate, high enrollment rate. In my class, PG level, the enrollment rate, 20% are admitted in the class, so 18 are female, only 2 are male members. In the graduate classes, 80% are female, only 20% are male members. And I have conducted one data collected from the students in 2010, found that 60% of the male members are working manual job while attending college classes. So that means the gender division of labor is actually against the poor male population who have to do almost all the household gender division, and especially when the male member got some kind of illness in the case of manual job. And in the service sector, we know that while the experience increases, the wage rate goes up. But in the case of manual job, when experience increases, their wage rate goes down. So when the age of 40 or 45, they started their work in the age of 15 or 16, they are working harder, and this alcoholism and this all this stress, strain and all, and this compulsion and inferiority complexes, all this kind of thing, there is no happiness because the confidence level has gone up. In Kerala, the male members always think that they are having only the pennies, and female members also seeing that the male members are coming to exploit us or trying to cheat us like that. So this kind of a feeling is not good for the society's concern. So this is why, because the feminist movement, we had not entered the second stage or third stage. They're still fighting in the first stage, though Kerala is having the potential to enter in the third stage of that kind of thing. So that is why the government policies, while we are implementing, though the government, Kerala government alone cannot take a policy decision, but the pressure group have to ask for the government to take decisions on the basis of the problem. And sexuality, now the Sabarimala issue creates a very good thing, because now we can just say that periods, in front of an audience, because earlier times it's something nobody should utter. So this is the thing, because just like we are just creating some words, some meaning, sex is something which we have to hide, and the sex is the most important commodity at presently the capitalist groups are selling. Love, sex, that we have to, if this we are, then forced monogamy. Engels and this when family, government, and private property, something, it had written that forced monogamy leads to prostitution. And now what we are doing, we are trying to make the family that is structured, an undemocratic created family, we want to create it more and more. And we are always saying that Kerala, the divorce rate is increasing. And I'm saying it's a positive sign, because those who are female who are having fire within their mind are not ready to sit inside this patriarchal household sector. And but the government is trying to make this family under a tied up birth, and these people are quarreling. And without changing the mindset of or the ideology of the common people, if we are trying to implement a policy forcefully, that impact will be different. That is why 90% of the people think that this women are in menstruation period, women are impure. At that situation, if you are trying to make a female to enter in Shabarimala, that entire capital will goes to this Sankhparivar. At that time, what we have to do, we should realize that this is not the action which comes first. We have to just change the mentality, whether they are going or not. If your mindset changes, we will not fight to go inside Shabarimala, because everywhere logically we are thinking that the God which says that seeing a female is the Brahma, Naishtrika Brahmacharya will goes down. So why we want to go there? We have to ask the question. So this much powerless God, why there and this question we cannot raise, because the visibility of women is there, but the ideology of women or the women-centric or feminist ideology is not there. So we have to rethink this, the gender issues, and also transgender. So transgender means is of course you know that women is having a second gender, that identity itself, but the transgender, that term itself is different. It's a problematic, because while we are saying that gender is a sociologically, historically constructed thing, then when we are saying this person is transgender means that you can change. That means it's just like the religious group we are saying, because that person is transgender, that is because there are sociologically, historically, this problem can be solved. So transsexual or transgender, and what kind of things were policies they are doing, they are trying to dress up like female and walking like this, and that shows that female are saying that this kind of roles or this actions are gender, it's not sexual difference, that can be changed. So this way a conceptual clarity is not there. And also the most important thing, gender cannot be discussed with only the female groups or the male separated from this. Gender concept should be there in almost all the developmental issues, all the health sectors, education sectors, everywhere. And while we are saying that somebody is staying in Parishad and all arguing, saying that we need the male have to do household work. And then how the male can do the household work? We have deliberately can include in curriculum kitchen chemistry. Because you know that almost other countries, developed countries, they are included the swimming, diploma in swimming. Some countries, their country level is below the sea level. The first child, we are giving an education of swimming, rest level. And then caring, diploma in caring, and diploma in cooking. But our children, after completing graduation, they actually know hatred only. They actually know a male should be coming to exploit me, or the female have to be a commodity we have to fight with. So this kind of situation is actually had an emerge, and we have to evaluate after 20 years of implementation of this government-sponsored women empowerment strategies, what had happened, what should be there. So that part, that's what I just want to